I'm recording right now as they read out the scorecards for Shemaev Strickland. Let's hear it. Split decision. Shemaev 48-47. Come on, don't rob Sean. 48-47 Sean. Do not rob Sean. He won this 3-2 clear. 48-47. Sean. 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 Yes! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Yo! This is why we love MMA! This is why we love MMA! This is why we fucking love MMA! Get me on this website. Oh my god! This is why we fucking watch. This is why we love this fucking sport. Because of shit like this. Shemaev's wrapping the belt around Sean. Respect. Even if he thinks he won, which I understand why he does, I respect him for doing that. Fuck yeah. Sean Strickland is now the underdog in MMA. It's not Frankie Edgar anymore. The amount of people who expected him to beat is Israel Adesanya, and the amount of people who expected him to beat Khamzat Chimaev was so small. And he did it. I want to talk about the rest of the card, but this is such an insane moment that I don't... I think I'll record a breakdown video tomorrow. I'll do it tonight. But this is a monumental moment in MMA, in my opinion. Proving that he is the quintessential underdog. Nobody expected him to win this. If you pick Sean because you knew that, hey man, if I pick Sean and I win here, I look like a genius. I'm going to go over the rest of the card real quick, just really fast, so we can go over the main and co-main event primarily. I'm going to go over some fights that I didn't really care about really quickly, and then fights I do care about, I'll go a little bit more in depth. Jose Ochoa versus Clayton Carpenter. Masterful performance by Jose Ochoa. He's going to be a problem, I think, at flyweight. Despite getting my pick wrong, he just made a huge fan of me. And I'm going to be watching out for him for sure now. He's only lost to Amabayev and Loner Kavanaugh, which are obviously not bad losses at all. Those are good guys. He looked incredible all 3 rounds. Super crisp boxing. Head and body transitions kind of reminded me of JDM there. Every time he landed, Carpenter has a chin, by the way. It was heavy. Really good shots from him. Yeah, really good fight. Got my prediction wrong, but don't care. Jose Ochoa is really cool. Baisengur Suzarkayev versus the Jordan Santos. For some reason, MMA Guru is in the corner of Suzarkayev. I don't know why. But Suzarkayev looked awful in the last 2 minutes of the first round, not throwing much, not dealing with shots well, and his taunts are going to get him caught eventually if he continues to throw them or do his taunts not taunts, yeah, taunts, because he does them super slowly. Like, it's not the problem. The problem isn't that he taunts, that's fine, it's how he taunts, you know what I mean? Yeah, Suzarkayev has a real bad habit of covering up and just sitting there. Not in a Piotr Jan like high guard kind of way, just in a bad way. But yeah, Suzarkayev finally started using head movement in the third. Sometimes just for the sake of head movement, like even when Santos wasn't throwing anything. He was winning 3-0, but he got a good takedown, and then got the sub. But I do think people are going to start to realize this guy's not as good as they thought. But yeah. Moving up the card, Pat Sabatini versus William Gomez. Again, incorrect prediction from your boy. Did terrible on this card, but I'm not even mad about it because of that main and co-main. Sabatini, contender Marab maxing, did terrible in the first round, just kind of sat on Gomez, or not sat on Gomez, held him against the cage, couldn't get anything off. He wins the round off of like 2 strikes to the thigh. Gomez, I think, won the second round off damage. For the first like 2 minutes and 30 he got him down for the first like 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then he got right back up, Sorry, I'm really just I'm hyped, dude. But he steals that second round off damage, and then third, I think Gomez should have won off damage because Sabatini didn't really do anything. I mean, Gomez didn't really do anything either. Don't get me wrong, but I think Gomez just landed more damaging strikes, and he failed like a million takedowns here. Gomez has really good takedown D. He just needs to learn, like Strickland did in the main event, how to get off the cage. I scored a 2-1 Gomez off damage, but sometimes they don't score it off damage these days. Moving up. Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. Um, Man, this was a weird fight. Kopylov kicks were really holding him back. They were not working at all in the first round. He adjusted at the end, went with boxing, but it was a little late. He lost the round. Tulio chose his shots well. In the second, Tulio was winning clear, but Kopylov drops him bad twice. The first time he tried to do like a walk-off like he did against Chris Curtis. Then he realized, oh wait, he's not done, dropped him again, and then for some reason just decided to like clinch with him, or yeah, I think, or hold him against the cage, one of the two. Very weird decision. And then in the third, he drops him almost immediately twice again, but just decides to take him down, hold him, and then they eventually stand back up, and he kind of just doesn't throw much. So not a great win from Kopylov. That he has a huge lack of aggression, and next person he faces who's got more aggression is going to take advantage of that and beat him. Moving up the card, Jim Miller, dude. Unk still got it. I wish I could pull up the meme right now, but Unk still got it. Jared Gordon is terrible. He is the definition of good when you don't want him to be and bad when you want him to be. Bad when you want him to be good. I thought about the crafty Jim Miller pick, didn't do it because I just thought he was too old. He almost wobbled Jared Gordon at the beginning of the fight too, in the first minute, but eventually locks up a ghillie after a takedown on time from Gordon. But yeah, wild to think that Jared Gordon right now is worse than Jim Miller. This same guy beat Patty Pimblett, folks. Moving up the card. Oh, man, in that next fight, too, I gotta look. I can't wait to get to the main event because I'm so excited. My boy, man. Mateusz Raumbetsky, you know. It didn't go well. We'll put it like that. Dawson landed a good head kick at the beginning that cut Rebecki and then just kind of controlled it for the rest of the round. Yeah, he had a choke that was mostly on the chin. He did some decent damage though, so gets first round to him. Second round, Rebecki drops him bad, but instead of trying to do damage, he decides, no, let me just lay on him, and then gets back up. I think eventually. I don't know if it's the gas tank of Rebecki has just gotten worse. He has so much scar tissue on him too now. That's why he got that cut caused so easily in that first round. I don't know why he didn't just try to break the glass chin of Dawson. But in the third, he gets taken down. Or no, he went for a takedown. Failed it. Dawson just kind of stayed on his back for a majority of the round with a body triangle like he did in the first. And then eventually locks up a sub. So, yeah. I hope he has a comeback performance, but I really sadly think that Rebecki might be done. But I hope he's not, because I love Rebecki. Next up, oh my gosh, again, man, just another guy I really like, just losing in a super disappointing way. First round, I'm just going to put it like this, because this fight pissed me off. First round, he got out-grappled and outstruck. Second round, same thing happens, and he got subbed. And nice Donkey Kong monster truck from Yaroslav Amosov. I used to love Monster Jam whenever I was a kid. Yeah. Ateba Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz. 10-minute first round for Gutierrez, lands decent shots. I think he's a bit nervous that he's gonna like gas out or something like that ever since the Polyayev fight. But he clearly won the first round. Diaz had some decent defense though, but he kind of just was shelling up, hoping that he wouldn't get hit by what hit him in the second, which was big overhand, hurts Diaz, makes him do like a pose midair, and then he gets KO'd bad. Ateba Gutierrez, great win. This is going to be a pretty quick video. Sorry if this isn't like an in-depth breakdown. The in-depth breakdown will be for the like last 3 fights. Next fight, Bobby Green versus Jeremy Steens. You are born Roberts, lad. I'm not calling no man king. You were born Roberts. Sorry, my Patty impression is usually better, but I'm just excited right now. Vintage Bobby Green, hands down, good combos, slipping shots, good straights to the body and the head. Hurt Stevens, lands a kick that like barely touches the cup, but Stevens set up the cup shot. I don't know if it was on purpose, but is what it is. Takes him down after he slips a shot, big overhand or something from Stevens, and then just beats him up for a while, and then snatches up that rear naked choke. And I think Stevens retired. I'm not sure, but he didn't put his gloves down, but he took his I don't know. He might have just took his gloves off early, but he just took his gloves off, and I thought he was about to retire, but nothing happened. So maybe I'm wrong. Good win for Green. Brady versus Buckley. I would talk about this heavily. I wrote a lot of notes for it, but to be honest, it was kind of just the Usman fight, but instead of holding him against the cage or just holding him down, Brady was actually throwing punches. They weren't like insane. As you can see, the big total strike differential here. They weren't like big punches. Joe Rogan said like Donkey Kong punches, which even though Joe Rogan sucks at commentary, pretty accurate. He was throwing just kind of like how Donkey Kong like curves his arms like he's flexing and then throws punches. He was kind of throwing those on top, and did that for basically the whole rounds. Buckley would throw like a knee or something, get taken down, and then in the third round, Sean Brady didn't take like any risk really, except for like the last minute, he throw a couple like elbows and stuff like that. But yeah, solid win for Brady. He gets back into contention. Maybe do him versus JDM next. I want to do a video on like another, like I did with light heavyweight, a more in-depth divisions to match up next. And I don't know if I'll do welterweight, but I want to do one. And like I said, Brady, maybe do Brady JDM. Give JDM a grappler and see how he does there. I'm so happy I got this fight wrong. I love Alexander Volkov, one of my favorite active fighters. Close fight, but clear. To the people who were saying robbery, you're an idiot. This was a clear Volkov decision. I think he clearly won the third and the second, and I think the argument, I know a lot of people were saying clear Volkov first. I think the argument's for the first for Waldo, but I still give it to Volkov 30-27. Third round, I hated the commentary so much. They're going, whoa, 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 DC. Every time Waldo would swing and not even like come close to landing on Volkov. But Volkov clearly wins that round. In the first round, it was close. Good body kicks and leg kicks. So, like I said in my prediction video, Waldo's jab worked well and the left hook. Close round, but I give it to Volkov barely. He tried to Waldo tried to cut him off to like the cage, but Volkov did a good job avoiding being like corralled, I suppose would be the word. And then in round two, Volkov hurts Waldo with either jab or a straight. I can't remember exactly, but he hurts him. And yeah, Waldo didn't figure out how to catch Volkov and allowed him to. He just kind of like got picked apart by range from Volkov. Great performance from Volkov though. And yeah, I got really worried he was gonna have we were gonna have a, what's it called, repeat of the Lewis fight, but thankfully not. I'm happy I got this prediction wrong because I love Alexander Volkov. You give him, he's gonna have to fight again probably because of Herrera gone and stuff. And if he fights again, maybe give him the winner of Hawkeye Lewis, something like that. What a fight here, what a fight. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. One of the few men out here who's over here picking Joshua Van. Get it right, I'm still going to pick Pantoja to beat you in a rematch, but I'm not as sure, maybe I won't. We'll see. I was like confident in it whenever this fight was booked, but not as confident. Still confident though that my boy Pantoja will get Pantoja's to go. Not a flyweight or of UFC, but he's one of my favorite fighters. In round one, Van stuck the jab really well. So did Taylor, though. He did good not panicking Van when Taylor threatened subs. But overall, round one, not boring, but kind of like, a little tame compared to the rest. And overall, Tabor kind of gets it for effective grappling and close striking exchanges. Round 2 is when stuff got started. Tatsuro Taira, in rounds 2, 3, and 4, had some of the worst head movement I have ever seen in my life. He looked like there was a wire from his spine to the ceiling of the building. Just standing straight up, not moving his head at all. Like, insane to me how little head movement there was. He gets hit with big combos, jab, twos, hooks, an uppercut or two mixed in there. He gets Van down about the halfway mark. Van did well bucking up though from the bottom and getting out of mount without exposing anything major like an arm or up his back. Very good job from Van there. Taylor looked for a choke on the way up, but he didn't get it. And then a huge right hand drops Taylor. I thought it knocked him out. He was stiff when he fell down, but he kind of got back, survived it. Apparently Van threw an illegal knee, or was that round 3? I don't remember. I think it was round 3, because in New Jersey they haven't done the thing where one hand down isn't illegal, so it was technically illegal. But yeah, I think Van or Taylor should have kept the leg kicks going because they were starting to work, and he just didn't do it after this round. Round 3, Van, I think this is a 10-8 round. I think Van killed him with combos. Taylor was labored on takedown attempts, overswinging. At one point, he fell in on himself. He just went down on a knee or something like that. I forget. Not in I'm giving up way, but just there's so much, you know what I mean, stuff hurting me. Van even tried a rear naked choke at one point, which I thought he had, but he didn't. And even though Taylor gets a takedown late, I still scored at 10-8 because of everything else Van did damage-wise. This was a round where the illegal knee landed because of the New Jersey Athletic Commission still having the one hand down rule instead of it has to be 2. Round 4, closer. I still think Van went off damage. I don't agree with that. All the people who were saying Taylor won, he didn't do nearly as much damage as Van did. This is a damage-based scoring sport. That's why I think William Gomez should have won his fight. But enough of that. Yeah, I don't know why people somehow thought Taylor won that. I guess it was an entertaining fight, and people wanted to be like, oh, it's 2-2 going into the 4th, to give it, even more pressure. But he gets a takedown early, he doesn't do, any damage with it. Van gets up, sticks him with the jabs the whole round. Taylor actually did use a bit of head movement this round, but not enough at all to counter the jab of Van. And Van sprawls at the end and takes the round for me. And then round 5, Taylor does much better countering his shots, but I don't think it was enough because Van's combos were just very good, flowing very well. And yeah, I don't think it was a bad stoppage, but it was probably a little bit early, I'll be honest. And yeah, great fight, underdog pick from your boy, and I'm going to be picking Pantoja in a rematch if that's what's next. It might not be, though, because I don't know how long Pantoja's out. Hopefully he comes back. But if it's not Pantoja, then give him the winner of Horiguchi Cap if Pantoja's still not ready to come back yet. Great fight, though. Great fight. Fight of the night for sure. We did it. We did it. This is why we watch the sport of MMA, ladies and gentlemen. This is how legends are made, to quote Yuri Prohaska. This is how they are made. So round 1 went kind of how we were expecting, or not exactly, kind of how I was expecting. Like I said, Chimaev lands the takedown immediately. He did well, or Strickland did well, trying to move Chimaev away from the cage at one point while on his back, so that way Chimaev could posture up on the cage and control his body and legs easier. Did a good job of that. Great job hand fighting, stopping the choke. Hamza got a small cut on his nose. I don't know if he gave it to himself by hitting his head maybe on Sean with a head clash or hitting the canvas, or if Sean caused it with something. But Sean didn't throw much in the round, so. But I don't know. I didn't really see how he got it. Round 2, Sean Strickland takes over. Goodness, that hurt. Because I'm trying to whisper because I'm in an apartment and it's 12 o'clock at night and everybody in my house is asleep or apartment's asleep. Great jabs and twos from Sean. Denies 2 takedowns. Sprawls the first one. Shemaev pulls guard on the second one. And I wrote down, because I write down my notes live during the fights to read out during these videos. And I wrote, this is why we love MMA, even if he loses. So I gave the second round to Sean Clear. Round 3, 0 takedown attempts from Shemaev for the first time apparently since the Burns fight in a round that he hasn't attempted a takedown. I think it was the third round of the Burns fight, based on commentary. Shemaev attempted 0 takedown, like I said, I don't know why I thought I repeat myself. Sean's volume from jabs and twos, a lead hook or two in there, I think won him the round. Hamzat's kind of played Sean's game. He had a couple teeps in there, jabs and twos, jabs to the body, twos to the body. Like, it's like he wanted to beat Sean at his game in this fight, I kind of felt like. Like, brother, you're not even that good at what you do, brother. I'm gonna smash you at your game, brother. These bullshit guy gonna get murdered. You know, like, I feel like that's kind of what Hamzat was thinking. Sean's like, you're the fucking man, dude. I'm gonna fucking murder you in the grappling. I'm not gonna let this homosexual man just hump me on the ground. I'm not gonna let him do it, man. You know, stuff like that. And I think that's kind of what both guys were thinking. They wanted to, like, counter the other guy's game so well to where, like, people were like, damn, maybe they're not as good at that as we thought. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what they were both trying to do. But I could be seeing that wrong, though, completely. Like, I write these notes down live. And I was super hyped writing them, so some of my spelling's even, like, wrong. Like, I spelled Hamzat as A-Zamant on accident one time. Round 4, again, I thought Shemaev was playing Sean's game when it comes to jabs, twos, teeps, jabs to the body. I think he got a takedown at the end of the round, if I remember correctly. I think he won the round. He landed heavier shots. Yeah, like I said, the jabs and the twos to the body worked very well. Sorry, let me turn on my TV all the way. I hope y'all guys haven't been hearing that the whole time. It was, like, super low. But, yeah. I gave it to Shemaev off damage. I thought it was close. But I just don't think Sean's punches had as much pop in them. Round 5. Sean Strickland, baby, outlands Shemaev, finally gets his teeps going. He threw like 1 teep in round 3 and 4, and then he stopped, I guess because of the takedown threat, which I understand. And I think it was kind of smart not to do that, to just leave your lead leg open, or hind leg, whichever one he throws, you know what I mean? Shemaev landed some good rights, and again, jabs to the body. Sean tried to pull a wizard at one point that almost worked, and he almost had Hamzat's back. How crazy would that have been? I was freaking out for that. Didn't get it, though. And yeah, I think it's a clear 3-2 Sean, man. Excellent. Good fight. Nah, I was going to say excellent fight, but good fight. I wouldn't say excellent. Good fight, though, man. I think Joe Rogan or DC's like one of the best fights I've ever seen in the middleweight division. I wouldn't go that far. There's definitely been some better ones. Pretty good, though. Don't get me wrong. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, maybe second best. I mean, the only one that, like, for sure is above it is, like, Adesanya Gastelum. And then after that, it's kind of like, you know. Or Pereira Adesanya won, and maybe 2, but 2 is only a 2-round fight, so, you know, I don't know. Man, what a card. Not even because, like, the whole card was great, but just because of how great the co-main and main event were. And like I said, the main event wasn't like a barn burner. It was a good fight. It wasn't like a barn burner. But the monumentalness of Sean Strickland getting this, and I know I said this a bunch at the beginning, he is the underdog in MMA now. Nobody thought he was going to beat Hamzat. Nobody thought he was going to beat Adesanya. Like, It's so crazy, man. I don't know what they do. Obviously, Imavov's probably first in the rematch with those two. Hamzat does not get a fucking immediate title rematch. Don't even try that. He's either got to fight a contender or he's going to move up to 205 and fight somebody up there. And you could do Hamzat versus like Ankalaev or Hamzat versus, you could do Hamzat Yuri. You could do Hamzat Yuri actually now if you want. I think that would make sense. That's not a bad fight to make anymore, especially because Jan Guskov got canceled. If Jan Guskov would have went through, I would have been like, okay, maybe you do that fight instead. But since that fight didn't happen this card, maybe you do. I think you do Chimaev versus him if he wants to leave middleweight. But if he stays in middleweight, it's kind of weird. He didn't fight anybody in middleweight, obviously. So, like, aside from DDP and Sean, so everybody's a fresh matchup. But I don't know. I just think Chimaev, especially because of how he looked on the scales, where he probably missed weight, is going to be like, yeah, but I'm going to move up to 205, but the weight cut, man, I didn't lose, but, like, that would be why. But I don't think he'd fight Brendan Allen and guys like that, because I feel he'd be like, I think but I'm not going to fight that guy. You know, I mean, you can do him versus, I guess maybe a Joe Pyfer, Caio Bahayo, like, Brendan Allen, Shabazi winner, but again, he trains with Brendan Allen, so I don't know if he'd do that, but regardless, what a card. I say, like I said, do Strickland, Imavov 2 for Strickland's first defense. DDP should hurry up and fight, because this is his golden opportunity. If he can get 1 or 2 good wins, he has a perfect argument for a title shot. He has 2 wins over Sean. You know what I mean? So he has a perfect argument to fight Strickland. If he just gets 1 or 2 good, 1 really good win, they'll probably give it to him. And I'd understand why. But yeah, and I might predict DDP to win that if he wins another fight in the meantime. But anyway, yeah. Overall, like I said, I don't think I did terrible on picks. I went, let me see, I went 6 for 7. Shut up, you grown men in my comments. Saying that 6, 7, come on now. But, yeah, I would give this card like a solid 8 out of 10, man. Mainly, again, like I said, just the main event and co-main event for the moments. Yeah, Taylor's got a chin on him. Sean is the ultimate underdog. I might make a whole video on that, actually. His whole career, honestly, I'd say he's the ultimate underdog, but I'll talk about that if I do a video on it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my super spur of the moment video. I just really wanted to kind of do a breakdown after this card, and yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. This is probably going to be raw video. I'm probably just going to cut out the part where I watch Strickland's post-fight, and yeah, I'll see y'all guys later, man. Good talking to y'all fellas. Peace.